Hello and welcome back to another episode of CamBro Conversations. Today's conversation, I'm lucky to be joined by Aaron Williams. Aaron, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for having me.
Delighted to have you. And I followed from afar on Twitter. And my first question for you is, how did you go from this broke university student to now five-figure turnover months on the regular?
It was kind of like a last resort thing. So I've said this story so many times, but I can't remember it because I've said it for so long. But it was April 1st, 2020, I think. I was extremely broke in the week before. I'd just been out the night on drinking. I had no money left or anything, so I need to make some money now because I didn't like uni. I'm still in uni, but I don't like it. And I never liked the sort of 9-to-5 job or anything like that, the corporate sort of conveyor belt system. So I was already on Twitter. Like, I was already following some people where it was my old YouTube gaming account, where I just post crap about YouTube and stuff. So I was already following people like Hustle and Conquer, Dan Coe, all like the money people. And a few people were posting like, oh yeah, I'm making this a month. And I was like, well, they're around the same age as me, so how are they doing it, sort of thing? And then I saw Hustle and Conquer tweeting about ebooks and stuff, and how you can make like $50 a day or 100. It's not even that much, but $50 a day by doing like nothing. So I was like, oh, I want to do that. So I DM'd a few people, and I DM'd this one guy. He's not on Twitter anymore. I said, how did you grow your account to make so much money? Because that's what I want to do. And he basically just said, you just got to follow a bunch of people in that sort of money Twitter, engage with them, and then you'll grow that way, and then you can just release something. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then he followed me, so I rebranded my entire account to what it is now. And I was just like, okay. So I started commenting, started tweeting some cringy stuff. And then I started growing a little bit. I gained 200 followers in my first month of doing it. It was nothing special, but it was working, sort of thing. And then I found Dan Coe. He had a web design course, and I think it was like $20. So, and I literally had $22 left to my name at that point because I was in an overdraft and everything. I was like, oh, screw it, I'll just buy this, whatever. And I bought it, and I just studied because it was when lockdown was about to happen or something like that. So I bought it. I just started studying that. I started going through. I was like, oh, this is actually quite good. It's really easy to make websites and stuff. And then I can't remember how long. I think it was like a week or two later. Someone, because I started talking about web design stuff on Twitter, and someone DM'd me. He's like, "Oh, I see you talking a lot about web design and landing pages. Can you make me one?" And I was just like, "Oh, my first client." And he paid me $200, and I was just hooked because I was like, "Oh, that was really so easy to do that." And he's just giving me $200 for nothing. So I started, it started going from there. I started getting more clients, posting more stuff. And I started affiliating for Dan's course. And I think today that's maybe 25 grand just from affiliating for the course. But yeah, that course makes me 5 figures a month, 6 figures a year and stuff, just literally from joining Twitter, buying a course. And then obviously I released my own course and stuff like that. And then I got my own coaching groups now and stuff like that. Yeah, so just literally in the space of nearly 2 years coming up now, my life literally just changed because of a Twitter account and just because of a PDF. So yeah, it's pretty nuts.
It is genuinely crazy because it's a radical shift away from where you were. And I know you weren't shy of creating before where you had your gaming channel. So I guess there was maybe at least some practice for content creation before you moved into this realm, which I think a lot of people disregard the experiences that we've had before, particularly in things that maybe haven't blown up to the extent that you have now on Twitter. And like David Goggins would talk about calluses or learning experiences that have built him up to be able to deal with being successful in the future. And I certainly think there's maybe elements of that within your story that some people don't pick up on. Maybe they just pick up on the part about you doing Dan Coe's course and going from there. Whereas because you created before, you were in a bit of a situation where you were maybe up against it a little bit when it came to money as well. And you needed this more than most people.
Yeah, from a young age, I've always creating and stuff. I learned programming and stuff when I was in school, and then when I was 13, I bought my first MacBook, I saved up all my money for it, like pocket money and stuff. I bought it. I think it cost me like $1,000. I literally had no money, but I was like so ecstatic because I really wanted one for so long. And I found like Photoshop and stuff. And I like torrented Photoshop, because I couldn't afford it or whatever. I started messing around with like graphics design and stuff and creating logos. And then that's how I found YouTube. And I was like, I really always wanted to do YouTube since I was a kid. But my mother would never let me like put my face online and stuff like that for obvious reasons. But then when I was, how old was I? I think I was like 14, 15 or something. I finally made a YouTube account and I started posting like gaming stuff. I got like the recording, like the capture card for Christmas and stuff. And I started doing it. Outlast, like the horror game, I'd start posting that. And it picked up some traction and stuff. So I'd always liked doing it, but I think then I stopped because I got like 800 subscribers, but it'd take like 24 hours just to record, edit a video, put it up. And it wouldn't get that many views. So it's just like, oh, it's fun, but it's not that much fun. I enjoy wasting all that time. And I moved from YouTube then to graphics design, Fiverr and stuff. And started making like headers for people, logos. And I started actually like cold outreaching to people around where I live, email them and say, I think you need a logo. Nobody replies to me. And then it kind of just went from there then. So graphic design turned into then like programming and stuff. And then that led me up until like uni. And then uni led me to Twitter, and then Twitter led me to web design. So yeah, it's kind of always been sort of like a design sort of thing. I've always like different fonts and like colors and stuff, and structures. I've always just liked that sort of thing. So yeah, web design, perfect fit.
Where do you think your main skill set in the online world lies?
Probably, I've always thought I'm probably going to do web design or funnel design, whatever, for not the rest of my life, for the rest of the sort of period that I'm online. I can't really see myself getting into like drop shipping and stuff or e-com and stuff like that. It's just never anything. So yeah, I'd probably say web design for the remainder of my time on the internet.
Yeah, it's really interesting because there's so many different terms that you've just dropped in there, and we've also dropped in money Twitter at the start, which I guess some of the audience will be unfamiliar with, but it's effectively like groups of accounts that speak about chasing financial freedom, isn't it? And that's the niche that you're in, and that's where you're going. How much of it do you find actionable, and how much of it do you find motivational when you're consuming that content, or when you were consuming it?
When I first joined Twitter, it was purely just like 90% just people saying, oh yeah, you can do this to make money, or you can do this to be healthy or whatever. Now it's more so motivation stuff. Like there are accounts that post about, how to make money and stuff, but it's the tweets, like, oh, I don't know, like not telling anyone your goals. It's like superpower stuff like that, the whole motivational stuff that gets the most likes. And I think that's what people just chase that then. But obviously, I think most of the money being made online, especially on Twitter, is from the accounts posting about money and stuff. Where, I know I don't want to name drop anyone, but I know plenty of accounts with like 100,000 followers making literally nothing. But then there's accounts with like 2K making like 100K a month just from using Twitter and posting like actionable advice. But yeah, when I first joined, like in 2020, there were so many like accounts like, oh, you can make ebooks, you can do web design, you can do funnel design, copywriting, etc., how to get clients, how to do this. And now it's kind of gone from the money talk to the more motivation talk, which is fine. But I'd say it's much harder now to find people who talk about money than it is when I first started.
Yeah, you maybe benefited from stuff that you could actually use, as well as the motivational stuff, which always sits in the background on every social media platform, doesn't it? And it's useful in its own right. But equally, by you diving into stuff like website design and funnel building, you actually created a skill set where you can monetize that. Whereas I guess if you're just a really motivated person, you really want to make money, there needs to be another part to the equation in order to equal the pound signs at the end of the day, Aaron.
Yeah, I mean, it's all good. The motivation accounts on Twitter normally just go down the route of like growth courses and stuff, how to grow, which is fine. That's kind of the route I'm going down, and I'm going to make a separate account just to talk about web design soon. But yeah, most of it, because it's really hard to sort of not hard to curate your audience on a scale, but because obviously you're just talking about general stuff, not many people are gonna, follow you because you're talking about, web design or funnels and stuff like that. So it's much more difficult to monetize if you just talk about, general sort of, motivation, mindset and stuff. You can still make money, but I think it's much harder.
What do you think are the biggest misconceptions and errors around like monetizing your Twitter? What are some of the mistakes people make?
Too many people start their account just for the money, which is fine. That's what I kind of did it, but then I kind of got at that mindset. I really liked helping people. And I just really liked, doing design and stuff like that. But a lot of people just be like, oh yeah, this is how I make money. Grow. And then they start just releasing all these courses and releasing too fast. Like I know, obviously I did the same thing because I wanted the money. Like a growth course at 300 followers, and nobody's going to buy that. But a lot of people see, courses are the way to go. Courses are, easy to make money with. So they just join Twitter and instantly, like not even been on it for a week, just release course after course after course, just because they want the money. And then they're like, oh, nobody's buying my course because they've got no followers. And then they just quit. So yeah, the best way to do that the best way to make money on Twitter is just join, get over the money at the first time you get on and engage and stuff, build up your account, talk about something that you can teach people, and then eventually release something down the line where people, you've got that trust from people, you've built up that brand authenticity and stuff like that. So people are, you're that well respected sort of person in that sort of niche.
What was the first course or first area that you started to see real financial return on?
The first course I bought, or the first course I sold?
The first course that you sold and started to really be like, wow, I'm going to make some money here.
I've only released 2 courses. The first one was a growth guide. It's called Twitter Growth Rocket. I think I don't sell it anymore because it's crap. I did like $1,000, like up until this day. It's okay. It was just like that course, I wanted to get something out there, try to make some money, see if it was possible. But then the second one was an engagement course, because obviously my tweets get good engagement, good likes and stuff, good retweets. So obviously I wanted to release something to show people how to do that. That did the best. And then I released that one, I had like 5K followers. So obviously, I think it's did like 6K up until today. It's not that bad. Mainly the course that made me the most money is not my course, it's Dan's course. So I just affiliate for that. That's maybe like 20-25 grand. But again, I don't actively promote really anything. They kind of just sit in my bio. Whereas if I did, start heavily promoting something every single day, I can make an easy 10K a week. But I don't want to go down that route where I just become, that person who just spams course links on the timeline sort of thing. But yeah, the affiliate course for Dan, or Dan's web design course, what I affiliate for, is the one that's made me the most amount of money.
And you yourself learned something from it as well, so it's quite easy to promote that course given the difference it made to your skill set in that space.
Yeah, I think too many people buy courses, don't even read them or like go over them and then try and sell them. Like I've done it before. I bought what was it? It was like a growth course or something. And I just wanted to affiliate for it just because I wanted to make some money. And this guy DM me, he was like, oh, why should I buy this course over other courses? And I couldn't answer because I didn't even read it. Like there was nothing special about that course because I never went through it. But with Dan's course, I learned web design. I've got results from web design. I've got clients and stuff. I've got testimonials, and I know how to sell it, sort of thing. This course is better because, etc., etc. But yeah, if you're going to affiliate online, when you buy the product, just go through it before you actually sell, because there's so many people who just don't know what they're doing, and then they lose the sale.
Yeah, you get a lot of that in the fitness space as well on Instagram. I'm sure you've maybe come across it, Aaron. It can be quite low on morals when it comes to people affiliating with certain things in that space, particularly when it comes to products. But I'm interested, how does it work in terms of a structure for you becoming an affiliate for somebody else's course? Obviously, you can act as a referral for somebody, but is that very common in the Twitter space?
Oh yeah, everyone and their mother on Twitter's got a course out, or they affiliate for a course. So, but it's not really like difficult. I know some referral programs are really hard to get into, but everyone, I'd say everyone, like 90% of people on Twitter use Gumroad to sell or buy courses and stuff. So literally you just upload something to Gumroad, and then if so say like you uploaded a course and I bought it and I liked it, I'd literally say, bro, can I be an affiliate? And then you just add me, and then I can just sell. I get a link and I sell it, and then the normal commission is like 50%. Some people do like 60, some people do 90. But yeah, you'll just find people. I always used to ask, do you have my course? And they say, yeah. And I say, okay, what's your email so I can add you? And then I check their email in the customer sort of database, and they'd never be there. So, bro, you've not bought it. I don't want people affiliating for it when they don't even know what they're doing with it. But yeah, the general gist, you just literally ask them to be added, and then you get a link, and then boom, you can sell.
And then you're involved. I want to go back to the situation that you were in when it came to like needing to start to make money as a student, and you're still a student despite the kind of significant financial change that you've had within your lifestyle. What was that period like, and what's changed to make you the relative success in the field that you're in now?
I think it was just a case of I needed money. Like I had bills coming out. Obviously I had student loans and stuff. Obviously I was $2,000 in an overdraft. So if I got a student loan, it immediately put me back into my overdraft sort of thing within a week. But yeah, it wasn't so much wanted to make money for that time. It was just wanted to make money and then sort of progress that into the future. So I'd never have to, like in a year, 10 years time or something like that, I'd never have to be like, oh, I'm still in debt. I've got no money. So it was kind of just wanting to make money so I could sort of just secure my future. But yeah, it was awful. I was 19, 20 years old. Literally no money at all. I'd have to ask my father, Dad, can you lend me money? I've got no money until I get my loan or stuff like that. I didn't have a job or anything. Typical student doesn't have a job. But I see all these people have money. I'm just like, oh, I want this money. And I see, all these people on Twitter, with Lambos and Rolls. And I just be like, I want that. How the hell do they do that? And I was just like, bewildered by it. But then obviously I found Twitter, and I found the courses, and I found like the money accounts sort of thing. And I kind of just put the action in, because it was kind of, just like a last resort. Like it was either I do something now, or I go through uni doing a course I don't like, and then get a job that I don't want. And then that's just kind of the rest of my life for like 40 years. And I've never sort of liked the 9-to-5 route. I've had one job before, and it was in retail, and I got treated like shit. I hated it. Like my manager would like threaten to fire me all the time, and because I was the youngest one there, I'd always get like neglected and stuff. I was just like, I don't want that for the rest of my sort of life. So I was kind of just do it now or just get left behind. But yeah, that's why I kind of use Twitter now to tell people that whatever sort of stage, because I could have done it if I was 30. There's nothing stopping you or someone else jumping on Twitter right now, getting a course, and then just changing your life within a month. But yeah, I kind of just use Twitter now to say you can follow my footsteps and just do whatever. You don't have to go down that sort of conveyor belt lifestyle.
Yeah, exactly that, and you can rebel against that. I think you share now some really concise and hard hitting perspectives. Some of them are like really, really straight to the point, and one of them that stood out to me that I actually like I favorited and I screenshotted from my camera roll was, I truly believe that every single person has to go through something that absolutely destroys them so they can find out who they really are. What was that period for you that led to you kind of finding out who you really are?
There's so many. Like a lot of people, I'm only 21. A lot of people say to me, "Oh, you're so wise." I'm just like, I'm not that wise. It's just I've been through a lot of shit. When I was 17, no, not 17, 19. When I was 19, I got into it. No, it wasn't me driving. I got into a car crash with a drunk driver and he died. Basically went to the pub, punched me, my friends, or whatever. Everyone in the car was drunk, including the driver. And we were driving to the city to get more drinks or whatever. And he kind of just handbrake turned around the corner, because I don't know why he thought it was cool. But he crashed into like this ditch. And obviously the police now were there, but they said if we went to the left instead of the right, we would have gone off like a cliff and just died. So that was a real big one for me. I broke up with my girlfriend in I think that was 19 as well. Yeah, 19 was just a crap year for me. Broke up with my girlfriend in 2019. That just destroyed me. Last year, my nan died. That was a big one. And yeah, it's kind of just a spiral of shit, to be honest, bro. So yeah, it's just kind of all that stuff just makes me more grateful to, puts me back into sort of like humbles me pretty much. So yeah, it's kind of just, it's not that sort of party, because I used to be a massive party boy. I didn't really give a shit about anything, but now it's kind of, I take life it's like more seriously and less seriously at the same time, and I've got more sort of wisdom, just kind of like laid back sort of thing, and give the sort of best advice I can. Whereas when all that shit before that shit happened, I just literally just don't care, or like I didn't care, I just do whatever. So yeah, I'd say all the wisdom comes with trauma.
Yeah, so an element of trauma, and trauma is always like relative, but like being involved in a near-death car crash would certainly sharpen the mind. And we all know that particular breakups can have long-lasting effects, or even that short-term kind of depressed feeling after one, regardless of whether you're the one that's pulled the trigger or it's been pulled on you the other way. It's very interesting that these events pull into sharp focus, maybe where we want to go and move forward to. And it's clear that you were always somebody that wanted to make money, but now you're somebody that actually takes action in the right ways to make that money. And I guess if you can align the fact that I've had these experiences which I didn't enjoy and made me think of the kind of, how would you call it, the lack of longevity to how long we could potentially be on this planet, then it means that you're now working much harder for that. So I do like that. One of the other tweets that really stood out to me was advice on how to start making money online, and we've probably touched on some of that just now, but you spoke about like that first $100, which seems quite elusive to a lot of people. It's like, I know we're talking about 5-figure months and that's exciting, isn't it? But that first $100 is probably like maybe the hardest milestone to hit. And the ease of how to do it when you explained it was something that really stood out to me. Can you share what your advice would be for somebody to just not instantly, but like quickly make $100 online?
So I say it's easy because, right, for me, it is really simple. Like, it's a few steps I'm done. It wasn't when I didn't understand it, but now that I've done it, it's like more simple than anything. So basically, if you're alive and breathing, you can sell something. Obviously, you've got to know what to sell, and that's where a lot of people struggle with. Like, oh, how do I know how to? So I know the sort of structure to make money, but I don't know what to do to make that money. Literally, it's as simple as just opening a Twitter account, selling a PDF on something and then promoting that with your Twitter account. So basically, the steps: get on Twitter, or it doesn't even have to be Twitter. It could be Facebook, Insta. I wouldn't say LinkedIn, but yeah, Facebook, Insta, all the popular ones. Build up your following. Just engage with some people, connect with people, build up your following, and then you sell something basically that can help people make money, or not make time, save money, make money, save time, anything along the lines of those three. So save time being how to automate this, my morning routine, how I make 10K a month, how to make money with web design, how to do basically like how to guides. And as long as it helps people save money, save time, or make money, then it'll sell. And it can literally be anything. Like, I've seen people sell their yoga tutorials on Gumroad. I've seen people sell how to get girls like on Gumroad. It's just like a $10 guide on how you talk to girls and stuff like that. But anything that you can basically help people with, you can sell. It can be $100, it can be $1,000, it can be 10K or something like that. Yeah, all you got to do is just write the steps down in a Google Docs document, convert it to a PDF, upload it to Gumroad, and then you just promote that link. Oh yeah, I've got a guide on how you can get women, or how you can make money, and then boom, people's, the more people are going to buy that, the more people are going to see that, the more people are going to buy, and obviously the bigger following you've got on social media, the more people are going to see, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, you just open a social media account, write something that that can help people. It can be literally in any sector, like how to make chili, or how to open a restaurant, something like that. Sell it or promote it online, and then just sell. It's that sort of simple. So it's just knowledge.
Yeah, it's knowledge and then putting it into some sort of packageable product. And it's a bit of a prod for me sometimes, because with my Instagram audience, I'm very much an affiliate. I don't have a course or something that I package up to really give value. I give a lot of free value, but sometimes I think maybe I should produce some sort of short ebook on a particular topic where I have an authority, or at least some sort of actionable advice for somebody who's a couple of steps further down the ladder in where they want to go, if I'm in that same path or same journey as them. So that certainly speaks to me, and I'm sure it speaks to a lot of people that are listening about we all tend to have some area of value within our lives, and you've just named off so many different areas there. And it really is just about putting it into something concise and helpful. And if it solves a problem or scratches an itch, then you're going to be in a much, much better position.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the fitness thing, you can even just sell your workout routine for like $15. You know, show a picture of you before and after, give the routine boom.
Yeah, exactly. That's the very low barrier to entry in the fitness space as well. Given you work on socials like quite a lot of your day and online, how do you like guard against distraction and losing yourself from the actual important things you need to do?
I think it's just because I just enjoy Twitter. So, you know, like I get distracted from like uni work or college work and stuff like that because I didn't want to do it. But I think, you know, going through Twitter, I don't really see it as like a job or anything. It's just something that makes me money. And I actually enjoy like reading tweets and stuff and seeing advice. It's just something I enjoy. So I don't really get distracted, to be honest. I just see it as not a hobby or not like a passion either. It's just something I enjoy doing. And I think obviously the more you enjoy something, the less you're going to be like, oh, I can't, you know, I never wake up and say, oh, I've got to get on Twitter today. I just get on it in my spare time. I don't really have a schedule. Like after we finish this podcast, I'll probably jump on Twitter for a bit, you know, comment on some stuff and then go to sleep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not like, you know, I've got to get in Twitter after this podcast for like an hour or two. Just kind of just jump on it whenever I feel, do some, you know, write some tweets, write some comments and, you know, reply to some DMs and then like go off it. And I kind of just structure that throughout the day.
Yeah. But in stark contrast, you maybe feel a bit more distracted from like uni and college work because it doesn't grab you in the same way.
Yeah, I don't. I think it's because, you know, the end goal is important as well. Like the end goal with Twitter is obviously a business and making money from it, and that's something I really want to do, obviously. But with uni, I don't want a degree at all. I don't want the job like a 9 to 5. I don't want a degree, so I'm just less inclined to go. But yeah, with Twitter, that's kind of just not my purpose. It's kind of sad saying Twitter's your purpose. But my main goal is business and money and like financial freedom. So I think I enjoy it more. Whereas yeah, uni, I just don't care about.
What keeps you at uni just now then?
It's my last year. I don't want to waste all that money and then come out with nothing. So, you know, it's just, I may as well just throw it down the drain. Yeah. But I think if it was like my first or second year, that I'd probably leave. But this is my 4th year now. And, you know, I think everyone's saying to me, oh, even people on Twitter, you may as well just stay, get a degree, and then, you know, you don't have to use it if you want. At least you've got something to show for all that debt. But yeah, otherwise, if I had like another 10 years, and I'd just drop out now.
Yeah, of course. Regarding distraction, when you're perhaps creating this new course for web design and support, do you find when you're writing that content, does the distraction creep in to maybe go on Twitter, escape from it, maybe go and watch TV or whatever, or do you find your focus is stronger there?
I think writing courses is much harder, or like doing anything like creative is much harder than just getting on Twitter. Again, I think it's the whole purpose thing. Like, I'm doing this because I really want to make money. If I was doing a course just for nothing, I'd be like, oh. But I think because money's involved as well, you know, if I make this now, I can make a shit ton of money. Whereas, you know, in a job where if you're working for minimum wage, you just hate it because it's not much money. But, you know, there's nothing stopping anyone now from just writing a course and making like $1,000 this week. But I think it's because the sort of not deadline, but the monetary values there. Then you're like, oh shit, you know, I can make a shit ton of money from this, so I'm going to work my ass off on it. But yeah, I do sometimes get distracted with stuff outside of Twitter. I think Twitter is a massive addiction as well as a distraction. Like I'll just be, I don't know, working on something or whatever, working on like a website or something. I'll just jump on Twitter just out of like habit. I just for like a break, and then I'll even get off Twitter on my computer, get in bed to chill, and then just jump on Twitter on my phone because it's just such a massive addiction. Yeah. I think the dopamine as well from like followers and like sales and stuff just really does get you. But it used to be really massively addicting to the point where I couldn't get off it. But now obviously I've controlled it. I'm not on Twitter like 24 hours a day. But yeah, I think when you do start and you first start seeing those followers and those sales coming in, you just can't get off because you want more and more. But obviously as you grow bigger and bigger, then you're just like, oh, you know, that's more inclined to happen now as you're a larger account. So you just kind of chill a little bit.
Do you find now that time on the app automatically equals more income?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. I think, you know, it's that snowball effect. Like the more you know, the more you work and the more time goes on, the more money comes in, obviously, because followers go up. And obviously, the more followers, the more people who see what you do, more DMs you get, more customers, etc., etc. So yeah, it's just that snowball effect. A lot of people get frustrated at the start and they're just like, oh, I'm not making any sales, I'm not growing at all. And it's completely normal. Like, I was stuck on 27K for like months. I couldn't get off. I don't know why. And I just kept working. I didn't want to give up. I nearly did. But I kept working at it, kept going and going. And then it just started kicking off again. So a lot of people I know don't succeed because they'll be stuck at that certain point and they'll stop. You know, it's not working, I'm just going to stop. Like I did with YouTube, is a good example. I wasn't seeing the results I wanted, so I just stopped. And who knows what I could have, taken account, but, whatever. But yeah, 1,000,000%, the more time you spend commenting, engaging, DMing, the more money. It's like, I read a tweet, and it was like the more, or the money you make is or something like directly proportional to the amount of time you spend doing that certain thing, which is like 1,000,000% true.
It's funny that for you is Twitter, though, because of the structure you've built with affiliate marketing and your own course alongside that and your own expertise in terms of like a group and a coaching thing. Whereas I think for a lot of people, time on social media probably negates their income in their day job as well, because people are so distracted, they don't perform well in their day-to-day career. Or if they don't quite have the right product, they'd be better like spending less time on the app and more time improving quality of product and quality of service in order to improve like retention or whatever of customers and then reach where they actually want to go. But for you, genuinely, an increase in followers almost always equals an increase in money. And I think that's interesting, because that's definitely not the case in my view for everyone online.
Yeah, I mean, if someone said, 5 years ago, oh yeah, you can make 10K a month just from a Twitter account, I'd probably just shut up. Like I've had Twitter since I was 15, and it just used to be my YouTube one, and I never made any money from that. But in the background, all the people that I didn't know about were just making like thousands from Twitter. I suppose it's the same with everything. Like everything has that hidden thing where people are doing much more than you. Like on Facebook, I don't use Facebook to make money, but I know there are people making like millions from Facebook. Same as like LinkedIn, same as any other thing in the world. But I think it's as long as you've got the knowledge to understand that you can make money from literally anything, then you can start making money, sort of thing. But yeah, it is really weird when people say, what's your job? Normally I'll say unemployed, because I don't want people to, it's just so hard to explain. And then you got people like, doubters and stuff. But when genuine people say, so what do you do? How do you make money? I just say, I post tweets. I just make money. And they just give you the weirdest look ever.
Yeah, of course. We've definitely explained a bit of the method behind it today, though, thankfully, because otherwise the headline literally is just tweet all the time, whereas you're like, well, you need to have a strong affiliate course behind you. You need to have a skill set, which you do in web design and funnel building. And that's what I think a lot of people forget when they see these online successes and like just how much things have changed for you. With like the huge change in your financial situation and your increase in earnings, how are you managing that emotionally in terms of like this radically different bank balance and earning power that you've got?
I think because I was really broke 2 years ago, or like a year ago, whatever it was, I kind of appreciate money more. So I've always been really tight. I never like to spend money. I like to see it come in, but as soon as it goes out on like monthly subscriptions and stuff, I hate it. Obviously I don't mind spending money, like I don't mind dropping like 100 quid in the pub or something like that, just because I can. But yeah, I try to, even though I've got a lot of money, I still try to live sort of frugally. Like I won't buy new clothes and stuff. I won't buy, like things that normal people buy. I kind of just like to save, and then if I gotta spend, then I'll spend. But yeah, I think it's just that mindset I've always grown up with. Like if you've got money, don't blow it on everything, because obviously there's going to be some point where you need that money. But when I did first start making money, I was just like, oh shit, I'm making a lot of money now. And I have splashed out some stuff, like bought a new laptop the other week for like $2,000, and it was just, $2,000 a lot of money, and I was just like, oh shit. But then as soon as I spent that $2,000, I won't spend anything else until I've made that $2,000 back, and then I can go from there. But I think that mindset where it's sort of like you either invest your money you say, well, I wouldn't really recommend anyone save their money, just put it in crypto or something. You use that money to make more money, then you'll make way more money. I've always had the rule where if I spend something, then I've got to sort of replenish that before I spend, on something else big.
It sounds like your relationship with money's better now that you have more abundance than when you were more broke and you were spending more, like partying, as you told me when we were getting this arranged, that you were more likely to like spend money when you had your student loan than when you're actually earning it yourself at such high levels.
Yeah, I think everyone, when you grow up and your parents say, oh, you'll appreciate things more when it's your own money, sort of thing, or when you buy it, and it is true. But I think when I had my loan, because I didn't have that much money at the time, I just didn't care if I spent more. Like, oh yeah, I've only got 100 quid, I may as well just spend it. But then when you're dealing with like 10, 20, 30k or whatever, like, oh, that's a big amount of money, I don't want to see it depleted, sort of thing. But yeah, when I saw like 100 quid in my account, and it wouldn't really phase me going from like 100 to zero because it's not that much money. But if you got like 100 grand in your account and you see 100,000 go from that to zero, then it's like, oh, that's a lot of money I've spent. But yeah, I think when I was 19 or 20 as well, I was a bit of a dumbass. Like, I didn't really care. I kind of just went off the rails, sort of thing, because I was in uni. But obviously I've smartened up now, financially, emotionally and stuff. And more mature as well. And even though I am still in uni, I still do go out and stuff. It's not excessively like every single day like I used to.
Yeah, I think it's probably largely because you've got a purpose as well and fulfillment. There's probably less reason for you to drink and like daily and party daily because you've actually got quite a lot to work on. Sure, you could probably send out some tweets with a couple of pints, and I'm sure you've done it on occasion, but it's probably not something that leads to you being the articulate, really well formulated tweeter that you are. Because I think we were joking that you've maybe done a tweet before that you've been like, I've not quite got that, and it's not banged. But then you've gone back to it and like really nailed the wording in the way that like the kind of Aaron Will or I am Aaron Will style really is. And you've been like, yeah, that one's going to bang. And it does.
Yeah, it's kind of just like the more time, wherever you put more time into, that's what's going to sort of expand. And obviously when I didn't do Twitter or business and stuff, I didn't really have anything to do apart from uni work, which I never did anyway. So I just, where can I best spend my time today? Oh, pub drinking. And obviously I spent more money then, but obviously now I've got business to run, I've got Twitter. So the more time I spend out drinking or doing whatever, the less time I can spend on the business. Obviously, the less time I spend on the business, the less money is going to come in, and it sort of just spirals. But yeah, the purpose will massively change your sort of priorities and stuff. So obviously I used to just drink all the time, but obviously I do drink now and then, but I always make sure that all the work is done, or I don't have deadlines to meet, and everything is sort of scheduled when I do go out. And then obviously I catch up. Like I went out yesterday, so today and the rest of this week now is going to be spent just doing work, catching up on some stuff, and then I'll see when I go out next.
It puts you in a much better position when you know that the back end and the key boxes are ticked, and then you probably can enjoy your pub golf like you did last night more so.
Yeah, I mean, so when everything, like I always make sure all my tweets are scheduled, everything, all my DMs are replied to, and all my business is done. And then, because obviously when you go out and you've got stuff to do, it's like, when you try to go to sleep and you've got stuff on your mind, you're like, oh, you can't really have a good time or, do it properly because you've got, I've got to go back now tonight and do all this stuff. Whereas if everything is done, you can just enjoy as much as you want.
Yeah. Your relationship with money really interests me, and I think you've communicated really well. But equally, your relationship with alcohol has probably changed based on like how much you've enjoyed yourself, and that's the same. Like at like leaving your teens into your 20s, there's definitely more people than not would look at the relationship with alcohol and realize it wouldn't be sustainable if they want to reach really big financial goals. But you certainly seem that way. What are some of the big plans that you have for the future in terms of business, life? Where do you see yourself going?
Well, my ultimate goal, I want to do, maybe it'll be in web design, I don't really know. The end goal is to just disappear completely. Like one day I'll just delete my accounts, and no one will ever see me again. But obviously I want to make an impact on things. That's why I've just literally 2 months ago started up coaching for Twitter. So taking people where I went from at the start and then to where I am now, sort of thing, and it's already paying off for a lot of people. I do want to get like some sort of community going where I can do that for like cheaper, because obviously the coaching is expensive. So where everyone sort of is beneficial or can benefit from it. But yeah, I think ultimately I did have this like sort of vision for like this sort of school thing, and maybe that community will fulfill it. But the school basically where it's the opposite of what school is now. So instead of learning about like triangles and stuff, you actually learn about, financial freedom, martial arts, like mindset and stuff, the actual beneficial life skills. But yeah, I think short-term wise, I do want to build up the web design business much bigger, maybe release software for it, release more courses and stuff. Long term, I want to just kind of build that business up and then take myself out of it. And then when everything is, popped off and that's really well, I'll just probably just disappear, because I don't plan on staying on Twitter for, I don't want to say that much longer, but that long. I don't want to be like 10 years down the time when I'm married, got kids, oh, hang on. I've got a tweet sec, when I'm out for food and stuff like that.
That's so funny. That's so funny. You want to detach from the app that made you, but equally not be reliant on it in the future.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Twitter account at the end of the day. So, even though it did make me who I am now, it's still a Twitter account. it's just social media, it's the internet sort of thing. So I am thankful for Twitter, but I do want to get away from it soon.
Yeah, I understand that. Just regarding the school then, like you want to move away from like the traditional, like standard things that we're taught that kind of create us ready to go onto the conveyor belt of 9 to 5, university, whatever that is. What do you think some of the key things you said, like financial freedom and martial arts, are those things that are like you wish that you were taught at school yourself?
I think school, I've always said, I think school is just a massive scam. And it doesn't sort of ready you for life, it just readies you for a job. Because I remember I was talking to someone left a really good comment on one of my tweets, and it was like the school system was designed so far back because it was designed that way to make sure people were ready to go into like the mines and stuff, or construction and stuff. And it's just kind of never been updated. But I think today they're not updating it, because the traditional route is you're born, you go to school, you learn how to sort of become obedient, and then you go to work, you work for 40 years, and once you're no longer a youth, so you're too old to function or whatever, they just get rid of you, and then you start living, sort of thing. But I think it's just a huge scam, and obviously the people behind it know exactly what they're doing. But I want to kind of get people away from that sort of route. So I want to sort of make a school. I say make a school, it doesn't have to be like a building or whatever, maybe even online. But yeah, the end goal is to sort of build a school where people actually learn things. So you replace the traditional sort of school topics, like obviously math and English are important, but like things that people never, like Pythagoras, like 90% of people who go to school and learn Pythagoras never ever. I've never calculated an area of a triangle since I've left school. I've been out of school for like 6 years. Or I've never, about religion and stuff, I don't learn anything about religion. I never put that into use, sort of thing. Or science. Yeah, it's nice to know, but normally not everyone's going to go around and be like, oh yeah, that's an igneous rock or sedimentary rock, sort of thing. But I want to replace those sort of subjects with actual subjects that people can live with, like financial stuff, like taxes, how to buy property, how to rent, how to make money, and then martial arts, how to defend yourself, how to fight, etc., stuff like that, how to sell, how to deal with anxiety, depression, stuff like that. So yeah, just basically doing the opposite of what every single school is doing now. It's kind of like, I don't know if you know, but Elon has a school. It's only a tiny school where he's got his kids and a few other kids, and he actually teaches like beneficial life skills instead of just crap. So yeah, that's kind of the route I want to go down.
Yeah, much more actionable stuff based on what you expect somebody to encounter in their life, rather than maybe the theory and the academia that we're steeped in. Yeah, I certainly think some sort of balance between those two, with more of a focus on the actionable stuff, is where we should hopefully end up, Aaron. But I've thoroughly enjoyed that conversation, Aaron. But if people want to keep the conversation going with you, where should they head towards?
I'm on Twitter. I'm on Insta as well, but I barely ever use it, so maybe I'll start posting on it. But on Twitter, my @ is I am Aaron Will, and it's the same for Insta, I think, and that's literally it.
Okay, that'll be tagged in the show notes below, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. If you've enjoyed this one, take a screenshot, pop it on your Instagram story, tag me at call.cambro, hit Aaron up on Twitter, let us know what you think of the episode, and I'll be back to speak to you all again very, very soon.